Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Oh, we're live. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that was doing a little bit of Beavis and Butthead rock out there. If you remember the couch scenes when the heavy metal music would come on. So thank you for joining us for another rockin' evening of looking into crowdfunded comics. We have a newcomer to the show. Hopefully it will be, the first of a repeat guest kind of series. We are talking with Evan Quiring tonight about Murder City Devil. Evan, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Hello, my friend. Hi, RJ. Good, great. Happy belated Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and all that jazz.
Something like that, absolutely. Yeah, I was telling you before the show, it doesn't feel like Christmas here because it's 50 degrees now, and that's down from 70 that it was today at noon. And I'm like, it's humid, and I'm sweating. Yeah. And I'm like, what? It's not December. It doesn't feel like it.
Oh, it's definitely December here in Winnipeg, Canada. We just got another snowfall, so it's about what did I say? It was like 1.4 degrees right now. So
yeah, but that's also June in Canada, right? I mean, you're that close to the Arctic Circle, so
yeah, pretty much. Well,
I'm kidding. I'm displaying my American knowledge of world geography. North is cold, south is hot.
Pretty much, yeah.
We got a pretty full chat here to see what's going on tonight. Hey, yo, Pops, glad to see you out there.
Hi, Pops.
Chris from Hero Shack is here. Glad to see you too. Raiden Radio. Hey, I don't see you very often. Hello, everyone. Yes, hail. And Miss Rena is here. Hello, it's me. I have to say that in the Mario voice. It's me, Mario. Because my kid watches so many Mario videos on YouTube, and not the gameplay ones apparently either. Apparently there's some fad that used to exist. God, I hope it doesn't still exist, and that these are all old videos where they take all these N64 videos and cobble them together, and I don't know, it's called YouTube poop or YTP or whatever. It's not for 14-year-old boys. And at the same time, it's directly for 14-year-old boys, if you know what I mean.
Maybe it's for grown men with the mind of a 14-year-old boy. I don't know.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Old enough to see it, stupid enough to laugh at it.
Yeah. Good tagline. I like that.
So I should put that on something. Sell some T-shirts.
Yeah, copyright right now. Trademark it.
He's already online. Great.
Yeah, right.
That's how this show goes. I throw out ideas and somebody else makes money from them. So Raiden says it could be -2 degrees where he is tomorrow. So, you're getting that winter wonderland experience.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
so Evan, how many comics have you done?
Okay. Well, I've been doing indie comics on and off since 2002. For the ones that I've written and drawn just by myself, I have done. I've done 3 issues of Lucha Mystery, which is my my wrestling comic book. It's about luchadors in 1964 San Diego. They wrestle monsters and aliens and all that kind of stuff.
I said that's a flying saucer behind him there.
Yeah, flying. It definitely is. There's and they battle like space queens and all this great stuff and zombies. So it's basically it's my like love letter to B-movies and wrestling lucha movies because I'm a big wrestling fan from the 60s. So it's with that. So those were the first 3 issues I've written and drawn, and then I wrote and drew this latest one, which came out last month, Murder City Devil. And this is essentially the return of the 19th century boogeyman Spring-Heeled Jack in the 21st century. Also, now he's referred to as the Murder City Devil because, like, what the hell does Spring-Heeled even mean in 2021? So
exactly, it's funny that you bring that up because I encountered a Spring-Heeled Jack. I love cryptozoology, exciting stuff. But I encountered a Spring-Heeled Jack story. Within the past handful of years, and I was doing an interview with a guy who had written a book on cryptids, and I'm like, "Hey, have you seen this story?" He's like, "No, I haven't." But it was a group of grade schoolers. I want to say they were in Arizona that had a reporting of Batman. That they looked out the window and they saw Batman run across the backfield and leap over a 7-foot fence and just take off. Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, look, it's the multiverses are colliding because there was some crisis event going on at the time. I think it was actually Infinite Crisis at that time. And Batman was, going through time and stuff. I was like, yeah, that would be neat. But think about, the societal references that people are inculcated with right now. If that same person or whatever it was, if something's tall, wearing black with pointed ears and can leap real high, in 19th century, that's Spring-Heeled Jack. Today, it's like, hey, it's Batman.
Or even Slender Man or whatever. Every century has their own kind of boogeyman kind of thing. I'll show you the reference where I got it from. So,
and wouldn't it be something if they're all the same one?
Yeah, right. So I'm also like I've always been when I was a kid like really into the show Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack.
Yes.
Like the really scary stuff. So, and I was always, when I was a kid, I was always into like just weird, like, UFO stories and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I was cutting pictures out of World Weekly News because I thought it was real.
Yeah.
All the UFO sightings.
I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in the supernatural, but I love a good ghost story. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and there are times, like I've had times in my life where I'm just like, I have no idea what the hell that was, but I'm not, on the other hand, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's a ghost, I'm just, I'm not that kind of person, but
I know a radio host who does a Halloween show where he calls himself a hopeful agnostic. And he's been in the Exorcist house for Halloween, which was, some scary shit happened there. But he was at this one place for Halloween, and he always replays the stuff. And and you've heard EVPs before, and they're like, "I want you to listen to this. Okay, we're going to turn it up louder. Now listen again. We're going to turn up a little bit more and filter." Now, and you go through so many permutations that static starts to sound like something.
Oh yeah,
well, he played this one tape, and he says, "I want you to go down to the basement." And this woman, he was with a woman at the time, the psychic. This woman says, "No, I don't want to do that." And then another woman's voice speaks and says, "Dave, I think we should go and, maybe take a look upstairs." And he's playing this back. He says, "Listen again. The woman who says, 'No, I don't want to do that,' was not there." He was only with one woman. And he's like, that's the clearest EVP I've ever freaking heard.
Yeah. Sometimes, like I said, more or less, I'm not really too. But I mean, again, there's been stuff like I've encountered, which I'll get into actually right away because it appears in this book that I don't know what the hell it was, but it's like, that makes for a good story. So where I got my influence for Spring Hill Jack. So I had like this book I got like my mom got this in the 80s, like Strange Stories, Amazing Facts. I think it was like a Reader's Digest kind of thing.
I have that book.
Okay.
I have that exact book.
Okay, cool. Right. So there's a thing on Spring Hill Jack right here, right? And don't
Yeah.
let the coffee steam. So anyways, when I was a kid, and then there's Jack the Ripper and all this other stuff, right? So anyways, I was always kind of enamored by that when I was a kid. I was kind of like, and I again, we didn't have the internet, so I learned years later that this was actually just some fictional Penny Dreadful story that someone made up. So, but at the time, I thought it was like, well, this shit is real. But anyway, so I was kind of, and so I had through the 90s, I made like a comic book called like Midnight Comics, which was like a pulp comic and had like this character wearing a cloak that looked like Moon Knight, and I had him fight Spring Hill Jack. But then eventually, when I did Murder City Devil, I'm like, I'm going to turn Spring Hill Jack or the Murder City Devil into the protagonist and have it more interesting kind of thing. And everyone's scared of him, even though he's going to, help you, but people are terrified. So when I just want to get into a point where a personal experience for me happened, and I put this in the book. So they have it. It opens up 1996, an old funeral home.
I'm just going to keep this up.
This guy's on a dare. He's wearing a Nirvana t-shirt. Oh, geez, I wonder where he got the reference from. Same my Nirvana shirt that I had. So you see this, the guy, the teenager goes up to this door, and there's all these stickers with crucifixes on them and stuff. So what had happened with me in 1996, I lived near an old cemetery, St. John's Cemetery here in Winnipeg off Main Street. And I was living on a street called Scotia Avenue, and this was like an old house, and that had some weird stuff, but I digress. Anyway, so my friends and I go to this house. There was the cemetery, and there was this abandoned house by the cemetery. So we're just like, oh, let's go check it out, and then I go up to the door. And again, keep in mind, I'm not really a superstitious kind of guy. And I go up to the door, and there's all these stickers on the door, like on the window part, with these crucifixes on it, like these little stickers you find at like some Christian bookstore or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever had those moments in your life where you have that, not feeling of dread, but that kind of feeling, that inner animal instinct of like, nope, kind of thing. And I was at the door, and I was like, I really shouldn't be here, even though this, I was just, it wasn't scary, it's just more weird, I guess. Like, why would they do this? I know it's a cemetery, but what? And so my friend Rich went in there.
These walls have been warded.
I was also kind of more afraid of, like, I don't want to fall through the floorboards or something like that. I don't know what the hell's in there, or get bitten by a raccoon or something, right? So, like, my friend Rich goes in, and he just said, oh, there's just like furniture with like sheets all over them. It was like an abandoned house, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, whatever, cool. It's like, I'm still not going in. I just, whatever, we're good. And then about a month later, there's a bulldozer going through, like, demolishing the house. Now, I just thought it was kind of odd, but on the other hand, maybe the house was scheduled for demolition. It was unlivable, uninhabited, but just the whole circumstances just seemed really odd. So I thought I'd put that in the book and kick it off that way. So,
he went in and let something out. And the only way to fix that was for the bulldozer.
Yeah,
Secret
right.
Society was running that job.
Yeah, well, like the rational part of me is like, well, no one's living in the house, and why upkeep it? On the other hand, it's like, it's by a cemetery and there's crucifixes all over the door, but whatever.
There's that part of our genetic memory where all these stories have, just kind of, we react in a certain way because we respond to certain stimuli with this is dangerous. It's like, we don't eat the red berries. We don't know why. But it's because they're poisonous,
and I don't know, maybe it was just like a chicken shit or something, but it was just, sorry, I don't know if I can, sorry, my apologies. But I just was like, this is not a good idea, and I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go in, I'm not going to go upstairs, I'm not going to go into the basement. We had planned.
Don't go doing that.
Yeah, but then we're just kind of like, is this really necessary? Do we really need to see? No, we don't, and I don't know. It's just weird. And that cemetery is like an old, old cemetery and what have you, aren't they all? But whatever. So I thought it made for an interesting.
Abandoned buildings in old cemeteries? No, that's that's a hell no. You don't do that. If for no other reason, then it's probably a crack house. It's.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is like I'm not okay. So I'm not scared of like ghosts and all that stuff like that because I don't know what the hell that is. Like I'm not scared. I'm scared of seriously like drug addicts or something, like someone going to actually kill me. Like that would be. That's why I don't really. Was that you ever see the YouTube channel? This is Dan Bell or Dan Bell. He's a
urban archaeology.
Yeah. Like he'll go into. Usually he goes into like a lot of times he'll go into abandoned buildings and stuff like that. Just like. I just get paranoid just watching.
I've seen one because there was a mall in St. Louis where I was living that had been closed down for not really that long. I mean, a couple of years.
Yeah.
And he went in there. He got access through an open door.
Yeah.
He was live streaming it, or I don't know whether he was live doing it or what. But plants had like overgrown the place. He walked past stores. And this is the part that I'll get back to this because it was what was weird. But he walked past stores that had inventory in them, and I remember because one was one of these not Forever 21 or Hot Topic, but it was like a geek store, and it had like action figures and T-shirts and stuff still in it. And I was like, this is at Jamestown Mall, just down the road, and nobody's there. I was like, I can get a truck.
But what's a little black mold? Just gonna.
The doors were open. He could walk into anything. It's like, and it was all abandoned and had been abandoned for years. I was like, nobody's going to sell this now. It's going to be, demolished, written off, whatever. But he went into like, janitor's closets and stuff. And there was like a mattress on the floor and, beer bottles. So somebody had been squatting there. It wasn't until he got to the office where he saw that the computers were still on and the video cameras were still on. And there was a walkie-talkie squawking on the desk. He's like, somebody's here, we need to leave. And he got out. But when I watched it on the replay to show somebody, those shots of the stores and the contents had been edited out. So I think somebody told him, fix it.
Oh yeah. That's that. Yeah, I saw like the one where he went to a mall, and again it was all plants were growing in, like this was abandoned, but security like had to caught him and like escorted him out. You're gonna. But or there's the ones where he goes into like abandoned houses. I saw one, and it freaks me out that he went and you actually see a shadow of a person. Like he doesn't notice it until after he's editing it. But
oh god,
there was someone there. There was someone there in the house, but they took off because I guess whatever. I don't know if they're squatting or what. But you see a shadow and just like it just drives you insane.
That could have gone badly.
Yeah.
Our Russian friends are here. Hello, Nadia, Eddie. I don't know what Vartek is, but Dobre Utro and Davikopia. And your links don't work in our chat because you're not a mod. So you decided to pull on this Spring-Heeled Jack story from your readings in crypto and recent mythology, last century mythology, and turn it into a hero.
Like an anti-hero. And basically, I had the questions of like, okay, what would I do if I was had superpowers, or in this case, satanic powers or whatever, that kind of thing, or any kind of like supernatural powers. And so first thing is, and like my city right now is, it's a fine city, but it's also due to the pandemic, crime has kind of been on a bit of on the rise kind of thing, and that kind of, so.
Well, they're not wearing masks.
Yeah. That's for another.
That doubles the crime rate right there.
Oh my God. Well, that's for a whole other, I also have this that the pandemic's done because I don't know how this is going to play out, and I'm not going to guess. So I'm just like, okay, there's going to be very little mention of the pandemic. So yeah. Okay.
You don't want to put anything really into a story that roots it to a specific point in time, because you lose your ability to be fluid with it later, and you ruin the readability of it.
I don't know how this current situation is going to play out. It's sort of like if it was during World War II, I'm not going to write a World War II story because, if I'm alive during the war, I don't know how it's going to play out. Now it's
exactly.
Fine, But so I have it like that, and just takes down crime, takes down some of the gangsters. I use a lot of trying not to give away too many spoilers. I don't know if you've read the book that I sent you, the PDFs and stuff like that. I don't know if you had a chance.
I started on it, but I wasn't able to get through the whole thing. Love the interior artwork though.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, interior art, story and art's by me. Colors are by Diego Vasquez. He lives in Mexico City. And
is that your cover too?
Yeah. So I do all the artwork and the writing. So I basically do everything but the colors. Diego does the colors, and then it's published by Scattered Comics in Sacramento by Jason Doobie. And so basically, this comic book is NAFTA right here. So we got Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. So I have that. I'm trying not to give away too many spoilers. It's an 8-issue series because I don't want to have it going on too long because I like to have beginning, middle, end kind of thing. 8 issues, so I got 1 down, 7 to go. I'm started on issue 2 because the Kickstarter, thanks to my backers, really helped me raise enough money that I can go on with the 2nd issue. And I have it that, how do I put it this way? I have fictional like boogeymen, like so a Spring Hill Jack is called Murder City Devil. I'll have some other, I'll drop some hints, some other I could say crypto, the boogeymen type people in there as well. As for the criminals, I'm looking to real world criminals that have worn disguises, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
And they're all going to be in there because it's kind of just. Again, I've always been like enamored with unsolved mysteries and true crime and stuff like that. I've always been interested in not really like UFOs or cryptids. Like they're kind of neat, but I'm more like just the really weird, the real weirdos that like, that could possibly be real. Not Spring Hill Jack, that's the exception, but there's some others there. And then of course there's the real life costume criminals throughout the ages. And again, I don't want to give any spoilers, but they're gonna all be in there, and change around some names obviously and stuff like that. But if you know your stuff, you're gonna be like, and some of them are gonna flat out just use their names because it's like, well, they're aliases anyway, so yeah, that's fine. But I'm gonna do that. So it's basically just gonna be like a big brouhaha, and they all inhabit the city, and it's based on like my love for unsolved mysteries and true crime and cryptid stuff, although there's not as much. There's no Sasquatch in the book. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean this cryptid. I mean, is he? I mean, he's taken on these powers, but I'm possibly getting ahead.
Yeah,
Spring Heel Jack, the entity,
yeah,
doesn't really like show up because he's still alive all these years, but it's a guy who takes on the aspects and attributes.
Yeah, I have it in my book is kind of okay. How do I'm trying to do this nicely without giving out all spoilers into my own.
I know it's hard. You got to get it's like going into Sam's Club, when they got those platters out, you got to give them nibbles so they know what it tastes like.
Right. And then you got that one person that just keeps going around and eats the whole tray.
Yeah, that was me in college.
Yeah, me too. Right? Yeah, it's like
that's dinner time. Let's go to Cup Food and walk around for an hour.
Yeah, and then you have the person like, you're gonna get it, you're gonna buy it. It's like, oh, I'll think about it, and you just leave. It's like, oh, I'm full, I'm good.
Put it in my cart, and I'll put it on the shelf when I go around the corner.
Yeah, right. How do I say? So I have. How do I put it? In my mind, it's because I also, as I was writing the series, and I've been working on this on and off for about 20 years. Let's see. So I finally started like hankering down about 5 years ago and did it. And I did the cover, actually, there's the original art, which actually sold in my Kickstarter. So thank you to the backers.
Well, yeah, it should. I mean, that's some gorgeous stuff.
Thank you. I got some. I actually got the cover to issue 2, which also sold.
You sold the cover to the 2nd issue, and you haven't even put the 2nd issue up yet. Oh man.
Yeah. So, like I said, so there's some, like I mentioned, there's some real world, true life villains in there. So, okay. So, spoiler: you ever hear of the oh, well, this is your neck of the woods. The Moonlight Killer, Texas, Arkansas, or the Arkansas Moonlight Killer from the 50s.
I do not remember that one.
Okay, maybe I'm saying that wrong. The Town That Dreads Sundown.
I know the movie. Yeah.
Okay, so that was based on a real life story. So that is that character. Although I kind of call him something else, but it's based
Okay.
on the character. So that's your first indication there. For Spring-Tailed Jack, I just had it that it's this guy, the guy Aaron Sparks, who gets the curse of him. Like he I don't put it. Okay, I'll just explain the whole thing. Well, Aaron Sparks on a dare goes through this, and I apologize for like the visuals not that great. Goes to this like abandoned funeral home, and I've like written a whole backstory with abandoned funeral home, so I will have a reason why there's a baby doll just like randomly on the steps there.
Because it's creepy.
Yeah. Well, besides that, and then I came. So the Aaron Sparks here, he falls through the floorboards because I thought when I was in the abandoned house by the cemetery that I would. So he actually does, and he walks by these like mummified women and people and stuff like that, and just as much creepy imagery. And he goes into a embalming room, and then he's in the embalming room. He sees like heads in the jars and fetuses and all this creepy stuff, and sees like some woman getting murdered, like a newspaper article from the 40s, like pinned up, and he's like, well, "Why is that here?" And stuff. So he eventually takes a wrong turn and ends up in a little like shrine, like a satanic shrine. There's like a corpse on this throne here, and he's like, he doesn't even say anything. He's just like, I gotta leave. And then
Time to go.
He ends up getting scratched and like cut by this statue, this devil statue, and the lights go out. And this is in 1996, and he's like, his battery dies, and that's it. And then we fast forward to 2021, and he's jumping around, and there's the Murder City Devil being chased by the police and jumping around and stuff like that. And so we go from there. So each story of my book is going to start off like in the past a little bit, and then fast forward to present time. So then if you
fill in that origin bit by bit.
Yeah. So I have like the next one is going to show him. And so basically, okay, spoiler here, because of this curse here that gets cut, that statue that cut him, Aaron Sparks, that incubates, that curse or whatever incubates within him for about 25 years. And then something happens to him, and that triggers the curse or whatever, and then boom, he's off and running, which I will show in the second issue. And then third issue, next consecutive issues, how he finally makes a decision of like, no one can stop me here. I'll do what I want. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. Yeah, like it becomes like Robin Hood meets The Exorcist. If I can, like,
cool,
basically say the thing.
So I'm gonna give you the chance to plug somebody else here, because you've got this graffiti on the wall here, and this is not random graffiti.
No. That is a local Winnipeg band called Ghost Twin. It's a husband and wife duo, and they are amazing, and they make amazing music. So if there is ever a Murder City Devil movie, I would have Ghost Twin do the, and you can find Ghost Twin online and get their stuff, and they have videos up, and they're really great. And I'd have them do the musical score. The music at the beginning, at the trailer, is from an old Winnipeg band called Kittens. They were really popular in the 1990s. They were like my favorite band. So they kicked ass, and they're really good. So I kind of that's the thing. Winnipeg's nickname is Murder City. Okay. Which I'm sure a lot of cities are nicknamed Murder City, but that's
Chicago.
Yeah, unfortunate. Winnipeg was also known as the Chicago of the North until I think Panama Canal was built, and then that was so much for that. As my memory serves me correctly. So where was I? Okay, yeah. So Murder City. So I basically have it that it is Winnipeg, but it isn't, because I have this story takes place in the U.S. because just kind of to me makes more sense because also Winnipeg isn't that big, so it's kind of like based on Winnipeg if it was the size of Chicago. So you have like more buildings to jump around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm glad I ended up with Chicago on this thumbnail when I built.
Oh, I'm sorry, RJ. What was that?
And I'm glad I picked Chicago for the skyline that I used for this thumbnail here when I had him jumping around. So that fits perfect. It's right there.
Want to come say hi? Come say hi to RJ. He's in Arkansas. This is my girlfriend Dee. So.
Hi, RJ.
Hey, how you doing? So you're supporting the guy who's going to make comic books for life,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yes.
I am the Roz to his Jack Kirby.
Keep her. Keep her.
All right.
Do not let her get away, man.
Okay. We'll do. Yeah. Go sit. I was like, yeah, go sit down.
Go sit down.
Actually,
Bap 2 is in the chat. Bap, it's been a long time since I've seen you, man. I hope things are improving for you. I haven't heard in a while. Definitely keep us in the loop as to how things are going. Don't put your wallet away. There's no campaign to do on this one. We're just talking about the book that is going to come up. Actually, number 1 is already done, and maybe we'll make the leap from Kickstarter to Indiegogo for some, not leaving cash on the table kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that I'm looking, like I said, looking into that because I've never done a Kickstarter before. That turned out to be really good, and I'm looking to Indiegogo now, and I will have something up very soon. I'm also that's also a thing trying to, like, if you work a full-time job like I do, and then trying to get this comic book out. I'm trying to shoot for like February, March to get issue 2 out. So. Like, I'll do my best kind of thing, but it's also like you don't want to rush it, and like make it look rushed and stuff.
Oh yeah, because you'll be able to tell.
Yeah, and also right now I am currently because one of the Kickstarter rewards was if you have a certain tier, you get like an original like sketch by me. So there's like one, there's like another one. I am jumping around. And I got like another one. So I had like about 5 people wanting sketches. Yeah, so that was so I'm just sort of like working on that. So it's basically like even though I'm on holidays, I'm still like really busy kind of thing. So and at some point try to get Lucha Mystery 4 out, because then that kind of concludes the that story arc right there. And then I guess hop back from Murder City Devil to Lucha Mystery, although I would like to have the Murder City Devil 8-part series like done.
Get it all done at once, out of the way. But now you've been doing this for a while, which from what you said, this predates crowdfunding.
Mm-hmm.
So how were you doing it before, and how is it different now that you can use the resources of a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo?
Yeah. So I've been doing indie comics since I guess professionally since 2002, and I guess my first published work was for alternative comics for a compilation called Emergency. Was it 911 Emergency Relief? So it was for September 11th, because I had a friend of mine who was living in DC at the time, and I had met him like in 2001. I went to the San Diego Comic-Con for the first time in my life, and it was validated my existence basically. And it was a lot of fun. And they only had like I think 80,000 people or 86,000 people.
Yeah, when you could actually walk up to people.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It was still like shoulder to shoulder some parts, but you could do that. It was a lot of fun. And I met A. David Lewis. He was writing some comic books, and then September 11th happened, and then he emailed people. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm still alive. I'm fine." And he said, "Hey, do you want to draw a story for me?" I'm like, "Yes." So that was that. I drew some stories for him afterwards for a book called Mortal Coils. And that was
Mortal Coils I have read.
From Red Eye Press, really? You actually read that? Okay.
Absolutely positive of it, yes.
Black and white comic book?
It's a black and white comic book. I'm going to look up the cover, make sure that it's...
Yeah, I did the interiors. I did the stories for issues 1, 2, and 3. 2 of those issues were inked by fellow Winnipegger Darren Marinick. So that was good. I'm trying to think. So basically with my indie stuff, I always just left it up to the publisher, because at the time I was just drawing for other people. I did a story for a Canadian comic book called Space Pig Hamadeus by my friend Donovan, who lives in Winnipeg. So I would just draw, and then get paid, and then I'd be like, do what you want. I also did a lot of stories for Drew Edwards, who was the creator of Halloween Man. He lives in Houston.
Okay.
No, sorry, he lives in Austin. Pardon me. He's gonna vilify me for that. He lives in Austin, and I did some issues for Halloween Man with Halloween Man's like breakout character, his girlfriend, like Lucy Chaplin. So I did some covers. I've done some interior work, and again, I would just let whoever I did. 2 issues of a comic book called Fat Girl for John Rhodes from Hyperverse Comics. I did 2 of them, 2 issues last year. And again, like, so for distribution stuff, it's out of my hands. I'm just like a hired gun in that point. For me, I try to get as many local stores here to pick up the book, but again,
Sure.
Pandemic is really tough because, stores are either closing or they're just like, we're not doing anything. But I got a few stores in Winnipeg right now. I also try to hit up like record stores and stuff because they like taking comics. It's a good avenue for alternate, like, indie comics. And I also like that's how I used to do it in the 90s. Like when I do my little like photocopy comics, I just go to like record stores pretty much. And usually comic book stores would say no, but record stores like, yeah, whatever. And just take.
It's the whole alternative scene, and they get that, underground comics have always been part of the music scene. So that's where you'd go to head shops to get your LPs and your Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
Yeah, well, yeah, I went. There was a store called Custom Culture, both spelled with a K. That was a head shop, man, and I'm not a grasshopper, right? So like,
you don't need most of what they sell, but some of the stuff they sell is kind of fun.
I just went there for the comics and the fact that that's where I got all my issues of 8-Ball, which is like my favorite comic. I get Love and Rockets there, and I get like all this other stuff. So I'd be like, oh, cool. So then I sold them when I did my first version of Lucha Mystery in 2010. This is from 2017. I kind of redid it, like redrew it and rewrote it because it really needed it.
That's an awesome looking logo too.
Oh, this one I actually did by hand because this is this is the only type of lettering I can do by hand is in the band The Cramps style kind of. If you ever heard of The Cramps, like I kind of like that horror kind of. Because I like the Universal monster movies and stuff, and I like I'm like a big Ed Wood fan, so I kind of like the old scary like movies you'd see on like Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of thing.
Absolutely, Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Torgo. There's got to be some Torgo cosplay or something like that.
The thing about the Lucha movement, though, is having comics for them. I don't know if they had comics before, but I know they were like, if you were Lucha in Mexico in the 60s, you were making movies as your Lucha identity. And, you were a real life superhero.
Yeah, that was the thing. The biggest, most famous luchador is El Santo. And then I guess the second one was Blue Demon, who I based Ray Diablo off of because I'm kind of a Blue Demon guy. I don't know, it's me and these devil characters, whatever. But and there's Mil Mascaras. But yeah, they made movies as well. And that's what really got me. Like, I mean, I've always liked wrestling. And then I found out that, they did movies. So I'd go to the video store. Remember that?
Yeah.
I'd always like pick out like the worst movies, but they had some like lucha movies, and I'd watch them, and I was just like, I was like, I have no idea what they're saying, and I really got to learn Spanish, but it's like, I kind of got the gist of it, what they were saying.
But they were always at the video store because I was watching Jimmy Carr's stand-up the other day, and he was talking about the video store, and he's like, you millennials don't understand it. If you wanted to watch a movie, you went to the video store to get it. If it wasn't there, you weren't watching it. Why aren't we watching Terminator? Because somebody else is watching it tonight.
Yeah. It was
that'd be like going to Netflix and saying, I'm going to watch some Daredevil tonight. Sorry, the number of viewers for Daredevil has exceeded our license. You're going to have to wait.
Right.
What?
Oh, it's maddening. Like when there was like, especially if there was a show you really want to watch, and if it wasn't on, or for whatever reason, that's it. You
missed it, man. If you did not get home by 8:00 that night, Matlock was over.
Like, damn it! Oh no, what didn't?
And if you kept watching for a number of weeks, they might put it back on again during the season. But if it was something like if you were a kid in school and it was Rudolph, you're screwed.
That was goes without saying. There was was it 84? So Transformers just came out, but they had like the 3-part series, right? So then my aunt's like about 14 years older than I am, so she's kind of like an older sister then, but she was like really into that stuff too, right? And she phoned me and said, hey, did you watch that Transformers show? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, you mean like those ones that are like kind of like GoBots but better? And she was like, She's like, yeah. She's like, it was on for like 90 minutes. Did you watch it? I'm like, no. What are you talking about? It's like, what do you mean? And so like, I didn't see Transformers until like randomly on a Sunday morning because my family didn't go to church that day. Yes. And I watched Transformers, and I was and there you go. Way of Life total became a G1. Transformers became a way of life for me. Same with GI Joe. I love those cartoons because not only were they entertaining, but they also taught me how to operate within a group, like how to like get shit done.
They were selling toys and educating you.
I thought so, and that was great. But yeah, that was the bummer thing about the 80s. If there was, I saw there was oh God, you ever remember the Ralph Bashki Lord of the Rings? Remember?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
The greatest adventure is what lies ahead.
I've been trying to
Brian
forget that song.
Christgau.
RJ. God, those songs were so dumb. Okay.
That's your earworm for tonight.
Please don't sing the whip song. Okay. Don't. No one. Don't. Please. Come on. It's Christmas.
I don't think I could. That's the only one I remember.
Yeah, I remember all of them because they're all stupid and for some reason like an earworm. But the point I was trying to make was that so I just ran, turned on TV. It was like Saturday evening or whatever, and then I see, oh, cool. Okay, so again, you're in the early '80s cartoons, right?
Right.
And it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm like, oh, what is this, right? And it was just the Frodo and the other guy running around, and whatever. And it's kind of like, whatever. Now you look at it and it's like, what am I doing, At the time, it's like whatever you had, so you're just like, oh. So you saw it, and then I just was like, it already, and then it ended right away. I'm like, damn it, I don't know what the hell this was. So I was like, looked up Lord of the Rings. So I went to the library, and then I read about Lord of the Rings, right? Because that's what you did. And so it's kind of like, it was tough back
on
then.
On a card. You had to thumb through the cards and pull it out. And then you had to go find the book. And guess what? Just like the video store, if somebody else was reading it, you had to wait.
Yeah, well, or sometimes they would never bring it back. Did you ever, do you remember those Crestwood House monster books with like Dracula, Wolfman? They're orange and black. I don't know if anyone in the chat knows like Crestwood House monster books. Okay, so this is where I got
Brian Christgau will know everything monsters.
Okay, so it had like Frankenstein, Wolfman, like all the Universal monsters, right? And Godzilla and King Kong, and that's where I got my introduction at this, like my school library. And they always had like the Frankenstein book out. Some asshole had would never return it. So I read Wolfman, Dracula, and Godzilla, and I was just like, oh my God, this is great. And then eventually my mom took me to like a public library and they had them. So I like photocopied all of them and put like all the pictures up on my wall and stuff.
So were these like adaptations of the original stories or?
No, it was just, it's for kids. Basically it was like an introduction and just gave like a a brief synopsis of each movie.
A cliff notes kind of.
Yeah, and like it said Bela Lugosi was Dracula, and this was the story of Dracula. Then later there was, this other, the other Dracula movies, and then they had, Frankenstein ones and Wolfman. They told about the different Wolfman movies and stuff. And they had the Godzilla one, which is my favorite because at the time, you know how it is. What is your age, RJ? How old are you?
53.
Okay, so I'm 45. So we're both close to.
I was around with the original Dracula. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was gay. I love
me and Madam Bathory. We'd get together with him on Saturdays.
No, really, and then we'd have a steak. Huh?
Yeah.
They were short of abridged versions. This was Brian Christgau.
Brian Christgau, the guy behind Six Gun Gorilla. Another fantastically drawn and written book.
About
a gorilla with a six gun in the Old West, and that's what more do you need to know?
It's Gold, Jerry Gold. So
yes,
they'll be on Netflix soon. So but I was saying, was another. I was going to tell you a funny story here.
I don't even know how we got here. We were doing luchador stories, and somehow we ended up on the monsters and stuff.
Sorry. Well, because it was like renting videos and stuff.
Renting videos of the luchador stuff. Yes.
Did you ever have like a video or like in the video store that you would always take out? Like, did you ever have?
Yes.
Yeah. What was it?
Candy Stripers 2. I was in college.
I'm gonna.
It was on beta. It starred Ginger Lynn. And,
okay, yeah,
yeah, that's
good work, yeah,
she had a nice body of work that she turned in. I forgot there were female ears listening. I'm trying to get you in trouble. Sorry.
you highly offend me, whatever. She's looking up Ginger Lynn now. No,
God. Oh, and by the way, when you were done with those videos, you had to rewind them.
Yeah, I know. God,
Yeah, that was a pain in the
and
butt.
or you get they beat you.
They would charge you more than the movie cost.
Yeah.
What was that? I had a friend, her parents ran a video store, and there was one movie they said they bought that never, it was Computer Beach Party, and no one rented. And the thing was, like, the movies, apparently, if you owned a video store and you worked retail, like, apparently the movies were like $80 or something insane to buy the movie. You know?
They were. I the first VHS I bought was for my ex-wife, Pretty Woman, and not only did I pay $70 for that movie, I paid it in advance to make sure I got a copy because it was on reserve, Suncoast Video.
Suncoast. Remember was it the oh god, the '89 Batman? I think everybody and their dog bought a copy. I had one. I still have mine somewhere, but damn it, that was a way of life, man. But
rewinding your video was so important that they actually sold devices so that you didn't have to do it in your VCRs. Like, you just slap it in here and you're going to get a high-speed rewind. It was just a video cassette rewinder. Look it up. It's a machine. Well,
hey, look, you got to understand, I'm from in Winnipeg, so things are kind of like, how do I put how things are kind of behind here? Okay, so 2004, I'm shopping at Walgreens at 3 a.m, and there's self-serve checkout. Winnipeg just got self-serve checkout 2015.
Oh yeah,
something ridiculous like that. So yeah, so this fantastic rewind mechanism you speak of never made it here. I've it's just fantastic. Is this the year 3021? Oh my God!
Wow. No, I'm finding one here. You'll love it if I can find a good picture.
I don't have VCR anymore. I find that the quality of beta was so much better.
VHS. It was.
I don't know why but I guess more people just bought VHS just because. I don't know, but okay.
Oh,
there it is. You just pop it up, slide it in, and close it, and it starts rewinding.
Dang.
Well, why don't you just put in your VCR and rewind the damn thing? It's not
because then you burn out the motor in your VCR.
Yeah.
You burn that out, you're not watching any more movies.
It's been almost like what's last time? It's been over 20 years. I can't remember.
I still have three VCRs, an 8mm player.
Okay.
And two of the VCRs are dual deck. So they got a VCR on one side and a DVD recorder on the other, because you were going to take all your VHSs and record them to DVD, which was actually cool for home movies.
Yeah.
Then they started encoding the VHSs so they wouldn't copy. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. So you wouldn't pirate a copy of Pretty Woman or Candy Stripers 2. Was it understand?
Well,
understand that
Candy Stripers 2 was like a video store in Chicago. Actually, no, that was Hollywood Auditions. That was another one. But that was where they had just opened up, and my friends and I went in there, and they said, do you have a card with us? Like, not yet. It's like, okay, fill this out. And it was like, do you want to see like ID or like driver's license or anything? Says, no, just fill the card out. I'm like, Joe Smith. My friend did not take those videos back ever. he like, we won't be able to do it again, but we got these.
Well, yeah, so that was good. Well, it's all about movie survival, and you need your culture. You got to do what you have to preserve your pop culture or something.
Yeah. The movies we watched were like, other than that, we what was it? The Stuff and All the Faces of Death. All the Faces of Death films.
What? Oh, okay. I saw. They always had the local channel would always after 11:30 news was done, they'd roll the movie of the night or whatever, the 11 12 midnight movie. More often than not, here back in like 1990 or whatever, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, they'd always like I had a little TV in my room. They show The Stuff, and I'd be like God, like why are they showing? It's like I swear that was the only movie they had. It was like,
Get our money's worth out of it. Are you eating it, or is it eating you?
It was so dumb. I was like, by the end of the movie, I was like, I wish you were all dead because I hate this movie so much. Oh God! And then they show like good movies like The Hunger. That opened my world.
Oh, late night was for me was always USA with Rhonda Shearer all night.
See, Dee's 10 years younger than me, so she doesn't know who Rhonda Shearer is. So
you watch those things, and this is USA Network. This is this is not Cinemax.
No, I definitely got whatever the affiliate was. So I have Up All Night with Rhonda Shearer.
And you knew they were never going to go beyond that certain point, but you watched anyway because they might.
Well, I just watched it because like they could show any movie, even The Stuff. And I'd be like, I don't care. It's Rhonda Shearer. Oh my God. And
she was like Elvira without all the gothic stuff.
Yeah, she was kind of like Elvira, but not. She was still.
She wasn't horror themed. She was just flirty themed.
Yeah,
and she liked these action bad B movies that she was a great host.
I think Dee should be a late night host for movies. There you go. I think you should do that. Then,
all you need is a YouTube channel.
Yeah. And you can just don't show The Stuff, please.
My friend George is doing that. He doesn't have a hostess though, because it's just he's doing more of the MST3K thing. Because there's a lot of really good movies that are in public domain, and he's cleaning them up. Okay, so like he played on George Peter Gatzis is the show, folks.
Okay.
He played this one called The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini.
Yeah.
With like Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
And the only thing he had to do was change one set of music because the music was copyrighted because it was a Nancy Sinatra song. She appeared in it to sing that one song.
Right.
But for the rest of it is like, okay, there's like there's a guy dressing up as a ghost to scare people in this house. And then there's a real ghost, and she's wearing an invisible bikini, which meant that you could see through her whole body, which is not what I would think an invisible bikini would do, but that's an entirely other subject.
It got you watching the movie.
Yeah, so basically she wore a green bikini, and as she walked around, you saw like the scenery behind her in those places. And like, that's stupid, but we're watching.
Yeah, they gotcha.
But there was like a guy, he's going to leave. But there was a blonde guy with like a neckerchief around his neck, and there was the girl, and there was another guy who was kind of dumber. And they even did this hallway scene where they're running in and out of doors up and down the hallway across from each other. And we're like, this is Scooby-Doo. They stole Scooby-Doo. And it was but the thing is, we checked it, and it came out 2 years before Scooby-Doo. So we're like, no, this was Scooby-Doo, and then they turned it into a cartoon.
Yeah. But side note, Scooby-Doo was originally going to be called Too Much.
What?
Yeah, and then one of the Hanna-Barbera execs was like drunk on a plane or something, listening to like Sinatra going Scooby-Dooby-Doo. He's like, no, we're gonna call it Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, let's name the dog. Name it after the dog or something.
Yeah, it was like they were gonna call the dog. They were gonna call Scooby-Doo Too Much, and it's like that's too stupid. And
yeah, that would never have caught on.
You have like all these public domain movies. I got was it Night of the Living Dead, which is like one of the best
yes
movies on here, and Carnival.
They're coming to get you,
Barbara. Yes, and Carnival of Souls, which I watched when I got this, and it's seriously like one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's like a Hitchcock Twilight Zone film. It's a shame
Yeah.
it never really did anything, but it's really good. And then of course
There you go. Just set up a YouTube studio to start, showing some of those. Have her host. Oh, the Ed Wood stuff.
Yeah. I just recently did for Mr. Bob Blackburn. I did a book cover. Diego and I did a book cover for Ed Wood book called how was it called? The Joy of Sex? No, it's not The Joy of Sex. It was called When the Topic is Sex. So we just did a album cover or a book cover for that. I also do album covers for bands too. So
Sweet.
Yeah, so it's pretty much like rock and roll and comic books for me, which and also try to. What can I say? I really like B movies, and I really like mysterious kind of stuff. Yeah, we should get Dee to host a movie channel. There we go.
That'd be very cool. Yeah.
She's been in movies, so.
So I've seen ads in here for other books, it makes me want to ask, first of all, what is the target age group for Murder City Devil?
Yeah, good question. I would say if this was a rating, it would be NC-17. Do not, maybe not until you're 16, kids. You can't read this until.
Okay, and I've scanned through the whole PDF, and it's largely language. But I see this ad in here for Kill Jessica Kill, and that's not your book, is it?
No, that's Jason Dubys and Noel Serrato's from Scattered Comics. So. Okay,
and looking at the cover, specifically the second cover, that's a stray gust of wind away from becoming.
Yeah, it's very violent, but the thing is, it's the point. With this series, like I'm not being preachy, but I kind of want to get some points across, kind of thing.
Yeah, I meant the second cover of Shadow Hunters, the Shadow Hunters cover.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the one I was saying looked like it was definitely going to be targeted to a mature audience.
Oh yeah, Shadow Hunters is absolute filth. No, I'm just kidding.
My kind of comic.
Yeah, absolute. This is Jason Duby and Noel Serrato, so blame them for this. This is just a bunch of supernatural.
Hot chicks,
a bunch of sexy ladies. So
we know what sells comics.
Well, I always say my theory is put a girl on it. You want to sell covers, put a girl on it.
Well, yeah, I mean that's always been that's the rule of advertising, right? It's like you have a pretty girl wearing as little as possible, eating, drinking, smoking, sitting on, driving, wearing, talking about, or listening to whatever it is you want to sell.
Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, that's that I was just put a girl on it and boom. I think in the 50s, for some reason, DC always thought put a gorilla on the cover and that would sell for some weird reason.
Well, it did.
I don't know.
It's not that they considered it; it's that they looked at the trends, there were three things that always sold more comics: a woman crying, a gorilla, the color purple. And that's why when you read Alan Moore's Promethea, he did ABC Comics, the comic book that was advertised all the time on billboards like comic books should be, was called Weeping Gorilla Comics, and it was a purple female weeping gorilla. He had all three things in one place. This book will sell.
It's so odd, like that was so like.
It was the 60s and the 70s. It was the silver age of comics. It's like I just saw a Batman cover today where he was teaming up with the newest crime fighter in Gotham City, Batgorilla, and it was a gorilla in a Batman cape and mask, and it's like, okay, I don't remember that issue. Apparently, it didn't stick around, but
yeah, I guess the thing, I would say is that this just because there's also scenes of there's no nudity in this. I don't put like frontal nudity. But there's
some standards. Come on.
There's kind of the. There's like sexual, there's swearing, but I kind of censor it just because, like I said, I want to make it NC-17. I just can't have sort of like imagine a Tarantino film without the swearing.
Okay.
That's
with a little bit of a blip in it. Yeah, my son, when he was 8, used to get angry and he'd go $! !star. I'm like, what? Because that's what he was reading. He knew that they were cursing in the comic books he was reading. He didn't know what they were saying, so he just said the characters when he got.
He just said the characters and the little. Well, you could do that. So I'd be like, okay, maybe if you're 16, 17, maybe if you're a really smart 14-year-old, you could probably handle this. But anyone younger than that, I would not. Whatever, parents can decide.
Blood and entrails.
Yeah, there's violence. There is a old woman gets kicked in the face because that's how it is in the streets. So I'm sorry. Well, it's brutal. Like
Don't try this at home, kids.
Yeah, don't kick an old woman in the face, please, because then you'll get set on fire because the devil's gonna get you.
You're revealing too much.
What do you mean I'm revealing too? I think everyone's pretty much bought this book. In terms of Lucha Mystery, would probably be like more for 12-year-olds and up. Like it's more cheesecake kind of deal. Maybe a really smart 10-year-old could probably handle this. I think so. But
very cool.
Mercy Devil would be like it would be more like NC-17. So
here's my problem now, Evan.
What?
The Kickstarter's over.
Yeah.
You can't go back to a Kickstarter like you can with an Indiegogo and say, "Oh, look, it's still in demand, taking orders, even though it's done. I'll get one now." How do people get your books once the Kickstarter's over? I mean, do you have a distribution channel outside of the Kickstarters?
Right now, I don't. And here's the thing: I just talked to Indie Princess, and they were going to talk to Liberty Comics Distribution.
Liberty's good.
Yeah, like and this all happened within the past week because again, I've never done a Kickstarter. I just met you, and I just met Pops about a week ago, and everyone's helped me out, and it's really great, and I greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to get Indie Planet to put Murder City Devil onto their site. Already, Lucha Mysteries 1, 2, and 3 is already on Indie Planet. So if you want to get it that way, it's also on SpinWiz Comics for digital version. You can get digital versions of Murder City Devil, I believe, on SpinWiz Comics.
Gotcha.
So right now, but yeah, I'm looking into an Indiegogo because then I can keep the momentum going. Going to be talking with Liberty Comics Distribution, see if I can get that, and then take it from there. Because it's the bane of my comic book indie comic book making existence right now is distribution.
Getting into stores. Liberty is definitely something that can help get indie comics into stores. So I would recommend them highly. But do hang around after the show, which we're getting ready to wrap up here because we got more to talk about. And Pop's probably already said, "You need to talk to RJ."
That's what Pop said. It's like, talk to RJ. It's like, oh, all right, cool, hi.
So anyway, folks, first of all, I want to say, Evan, thank you so much for coming on the show and showing us the books that you've got out here so that we're aware of them and can start looking for them and try to get them into people's hands. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for showing up tonight. We don't have a show without you. So, we're just that tree falling in the woods. Oh, look, they're just too adorable. They make me sick. And as always, everybody, while you were here, we just hope you had a blast.